Welcome back, everyone. We are two dudes talking 80s. I'm John. That's my partner in crime, Lewis.
Hello.
Good job there, Lou. Um, in the 80s, sequels were big. So I think it's time we did our own sequel. What do you think, Lou?
I'm all for that, man.
All right. So, we talked about before of forgotten songs of the 80s. People seem to really enjoy it. So this is more forgotten songs of the 80s, too.
Ta-da!
Yeah, Electric Boogaloo, forgotten songs of the 80s. Take your pick. We'll take any of them. So the goal of this is we're not trying to find things that that you're like, oh, I've heard of that song or whatever. It's these songs that aren't getting the airplay that we feel they need or deserve. And maybe there's a couple of gems in there that you've never heard, which is great. And maybe we'll introduce them to you. We'll put the link in the bio or actually in the comments. And maybe there's somewhere it's like, oh man, I totally forgot about that song. That song was awesome. And that's really what we're hoping to do is make you remember a few that maybe you forgot. And you'll be like, I'm so glad they remind me about that song. I love it. So, Mr. D Purple over there, do you want to start? You want me to start this bad boy? How you want to do this?
Why don't you start it? Why don't we add a little variety into the mix?
A little variety into our
A little
relationship.
variety.
All right. Well, let's add some variety. I'm on it. This one's an odd one. I love this song, and I swear, if I played it for the average person and said guess the '80s band that recorded this, they'd probably need like 200 guesses before they come across this. And that's "Shooting Shark" by Blue Oyster Cult. It was on their Revelation by Night album. It came out in 1983, and wasn't a huge hit. It actually only, I think, went to number 83 on the Billboard charts. But I remember when it came out that it was a very popular song. Sounds nothing like the rest of Blue Oyster Cult's catalog. Nothing. It sounds more like some, esoteric new wave kind of thing. But man, it's a cool song. And yeah, I really love it. And hopefully there's somebody that's like, man, I remember that song vaguely and goes back and checks it out and goes, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a really good one, John. We talked about this not that long ago. I can't remember if it was one of our episodes or not. But I went back and listened to it. I actually had Blue Oyster Cult's greatest hits, and I figure, well, it must be on there. So I went and listened to it. It's like, oh my gosh, I so remember this song. It is a great tune, super out of character for the rest of the band. I agree. It's a great song though, and yeah, there's nothing like that feeling. At least to me, there's nothing like the feeling of hearing a song that you hadn't heard of in years, and go, oh man, I'd forgotten about this one. So yeah, hopefully that'll do it for some people.
Yeah, I mean, it's got Buck Dharma on vocals. He sang their biggest hit with "Don't Fear the Reaper." So, I think people should check it out. But I mean, again, I don't think I played it for the average person. Said, "What band is this?" I don't think Blue Oyster Cult comes up in the first 200 guesses.
Never, never. I wouldn't have. I recognized the song when I heard it, and but yeah, if I wasn't listening to their greatest hits, it's like there's no way that I would associate that with Blue Oyster Cult.
All right, good call.
So the next one that we'll go off to is a band that they got a bit of radio airplay on the rock stations. I can't remember how high they got on the pop charts, but the band is called Saga. The song is called "Turn." I'm sorry, "On the Loose." I was gonna say "Turn Me Loose." Wrong band. Um, But again, that one is a really great tune. It's one that you very rarely hear played anywhere anymore. And I can't remember the name of the guitar player, but super underrated, incredible guitar player. If you listen to the rest of the album, he was just, to me, he's a little ahead of his time. So again, that hopefully that's another one that sparks some memories for folks going, oh yeah, I'd forgotten about that one.
That's a great song. I remember seeing that video on MTV. And it was kind of strange because it was really technical for like a pop hit, especially, when they're doing the guitar and keyboards in unison. And then when he's dun, 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 yeah, oh, that's so good. But great song, good call. And yes, I do remember that song very well. Did you actually buy the album?
No, no, I didn't. I've looked at it several times. I'm like, I should get it now.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I mean, I never heard anything else by them, and I probably should have, checked out some of their other stuff, but for whatever reason, I never got to. I was always afraid that since I never heard anything else, I'd be wasting my money on one single song. And maybe now I need to go back and check it out because, like you said, I think that guitar player was fantastic. Um,
Yeah, a buddy of mine actually loaned me his tape, and that's the only reason I know of some of the other songs on their CD. And yeah, he was pretty amazing.
all right, loaned you his cassette.
Loaned me his cassette.
Ah, that sounds old school. Well, I'm gonna stick with the great guitar players, and this person is probably as iconic as they come, and the band is Santana,
Ah,
and they had a song, huh?
don't pick the one that I picked. Don't do it.
Okay, so it's not Santana. The song is called "Winning."
Oh, you suck.
It came on their 1981 album Zebop. I think it's what was it? I think it went to number 17 on
Wow.
the Billboard chart, so it actually was a big hit. And yes, I owned the cassette single, or not, the 45. I owned the 45 of that.
Wow.
What
Talk
a
about old school.
great song. Yeah. I got to be honest. I've only seen Santana once in my life. This was many years ago in the 90s at the Shoreline Amphitheater. And the fact that they didn't hit on this song, I was like, how could you not play this? They didn't play Winning. They didn't play Open Invitation. They didn't play Well All Right. And I was like, come on, guys. I mean, yes, they got a lot of hits, but God, those are my Santana go-tos. So you just never hear that song, the Winning. And it actually was a cover of a Russ Ballard tune that came out in the late 70s, and they redid it for Santana. So something that was really cool. And again, it's didn't have kind of their typical feel, except for Santana's guitar playing, much more poppy. But again, what a great song! And most people probably will be like, I don't remember that one, so they need to go check it out.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite songs of theirs. All I ever wanted to be was to be with you. I don't know if that's the name of the title. I don't know that's the name. That's how the chorus goes. That's another one that I like. Most of the stuff that he did with that singer, and that singer's name escapes me right now.
I think it's like Alex Liker or something like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to tell you.
I'm
Um,
close. I'm close.
that's probably my favorite Santana era stuff is with with that vocalist. And yeah, super good call. I crank that one in my car every so often, and I'll have to go back and do that one again.
And you feel like you're winning.
I
So
feel like you're winning.
there you go. Well, sorry I stole one. I was like, I was doing this list. I'm like, there is no way we're gonna hit on any of the same songs. So the fact that we hit on the same song was kind of surprising to me. I'm not gonna lie.
Very good call though. Excellent, excellent tune.
Obviously, because you had it on your list.
Yes, yes. I am going to go with another one of those songs that I remember from the dance club days of going to Mother's, the club where you had to be over 16 and under 21. And this is a band called Houdini, and the song is called Friends. And I don't know if you remember this song at all. It's like Friends, dun, 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 Friends. And it's very much sort of like I throw it into the same category as my not My Prerogative. Ah, shoot, I can't remember the other one, but it's the other song that reminds me a lot of Mothers. Um, Rumors.
Um,
And I threw it in the sort of same category. Very sort of poppy, almost a little soulful. And I haven't heard that tune in years, and I don't know why I thought about that this morning right before I got on here, but I did.
wow, I vaguely remember hearing that song a few times. I think I only heard it at dance clubs, so I don't remember hearing it ever on the radio. So I'll have to check it out, but it sounds familiar. And of course, with you giving me such a lyrical insight to Friends, la 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 la, Friends, it's like, oh, that's obvious. I know exactly what he's referring to. Okay, thank God this wasn't the drinking episode because God, I don't know how you would have gotten through that.
You probably would have guessed it on the drinking episode. You're like, oh yeah, I remember that one.
I do remember that one. You didn't help much. I'm gonna go with this next one. Was I guess it was a pretty decent hit. It was went to number 3 on the Billboard charts. And this was in 19. Oh gosh, what year was that written? Um, all right, so I didn't write that down, but it was in the 80s. I know that for a fact. Um, this was a band comprised of family members that were all Pacific Islanders, and they're not Death Angel. Talking about the Jets with "You Got It All." I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't a fan of the Jets in the '80s, but I do go to a lot of those festivals, those freestyle festivals. They perform there. Some of the members, and it's just a great song. And I kind of got into it from seeing those festivals, those freestyle festivals. Great ballad, starts out with the saxophone, or what I like to call the sexy phone, and kind of brings you in. And the lyrical content is basically, you're talking about, the woman's talking about to her new boyfriend, like, hey, you're so much better than those other guys, and you have nothing to worry about. Really cool tune. And then the interesting thing was, when I was doing a little bit of research, because somebody on the show does, I was discovered that the singer on this was 13 years old at the time this was recorded.
Wow.
Yeah. So another couple, I like to hit you with that interesting trivia. Do you know who wrote the song? And I know you don't.
Richard Marx.
Wrong. Rupert Holmes, who wrote
Rupert
Pina
Holmes.
Colada.
Wow.
Yes, yes. So and even more interesting, which I did not realize, this song was covered by none other than Britney Spears. Yeah, and I went and listened to it. It's on her "Oops, I Did Again" album, so she covers it.
Is it any
Yeah,
good?
it's such a great song, such a great song. And if you see him perform now, like, I think originally they had like 7 or 8 family members. I don't know if they switch off depending upon what they have going on in their lives, but typically I see them with like 3 or 4 of the family members or the original members performing these to pre-recorded tracks. And the guy will come out and actually play the saxophone in this. But yeah, not something I really enjoyed in the '80s, but man, it's a great one. And a lot of people probably forgot all about it, and they need to start listening to it again. So
I don't remember this one at all. The Britney Spears cover of it, is it any good?
yeah, it actually was really good. It was very interesting because it seemed like they focused more on her actual vocals. It was a little bit drier of a recording for her, so it seemed like they were trying to really showcase her real talents as opposed to putting a ton of production tricks on it. At least that's what it sounded like on YouTube. Not exactly the greatest environment to hear music, but I thought it was done well. But I think the original is fantastic.
Nice. Excellent. I'll have to go listen to that one because I don't remember that one at all. So the next one that we're going to go to, this lady started off with sort of a very cutesy hit, and slowly over her career in the '80s, she sort of went the nasty way. And so she did the song Morning Train, and then she eventually went to Strut, where she started getting a little nasty. And then the song that I'm going to land on is Sugar Walls. And great singer. Sugar Walls is absolutely one that you never ever hear. It was written by Prince, and she sang it very well. She had a great voice. Wish that she had done a little bit more, but yeah, that's I'm rambling a little bit. Sugar Walls, that's my final answer.
You gonna ever mention the artist?
Oh, Sheena Easton, I'm sorry.
I'm like sitting there going, I even mouthed it at some point. Um, I do like the song. It kind of seemed like the typical cookie cutter stuff that Prince was throwing to all the female artists back in those days. But Sheena Easton, she had some great stuff. It was funny because when we were going to do when we did the episode of favorite album covers. There was one of her album covers. I don't know who took the photo, and it's just something about that photo is like one of the sexiest pictures I've ever seen in my life. But it came out in the '90s, like early '90s. I remember going to a record exchange, and George Lairfield had those cardboard cutouts, to promote the albums that you'd put up on the wall. I'm like, dude, you got to hook me up with one or two of those, and I think I still have it to this day. So probably more into her physical beauty than I was into her music, but still a good call.
Awesome.
I know you love your Prince covers, so I might. God, I got a few more, and I don't know which ones I might hit on. I'm gonna go with this one though. This came out in 1987. Didn't really do much in terms of Billboard charts. I think in the rock tracks, it went up to 17. And I think the interesting thing about this was it was such a departure for what you expected this guy was going to do. And we're talking about Andy Taylor of Duran Duran with the song "I Might Lie." Love that song. It's off his 1987 debut, Thunder. Um, just a fantastic song. And for those that are expecting, Duran Duran Part 2, it's nothing like that. It's definitely on the hard rock spectrum. Probably light hard rock, but still hard rock. But just a fantastic song. And I implore you, if you're a fan of Duran Duran, or if you're just a fan of really good, basic, hard rock that's really catchy, and will have you humming the song later after it's done, check out Andy Taylor, "I Might Lie."
Another one that I don't remember at all. So I'll definitely have to pay attention to the links that will be put at the bottom of the on our post, and check them out. So I don't remember that one at all.
I'm surprised. Lorenz was another one of those. Our buddy Lorenz was a fan of that album too, and that's another one. With Dan Reed Network and Andy Taylor, that we had this bond over because most people didn't know that stuff, and I don't even know how. I don't remember if he introduced me to it or if I just happened to come across it. But yeah, "I Might Lie" is a great song. Check it out.
Definitely will. Awesome. The next one, I'm not even 100% sure who the artist is. I can tell you who sang it, and that's who I'm going to go with. It's one that again got radio airplay on the rock stations. So if you didn't listen to the rock stations, you probably haven't heard of this one. It was actually a tribute to Keith Moon, and the guy that sang it was Roger Daltrey, and the song is called "Under a Raging Moon." And what's really interesting about it, it's a catchy tune. I liked it when it came out, but they've got all kinds of amazing drum players that play little snippets of drum solos in the song, paying tribute to Keith Moon, and it's just really cool. I'm trying to think of some of the guys that were on there. And none of them are coming to my
Armand
transom right now.
Appleby,
Yeah, and I'm the guy from
Tom
Rainbow that I like.
Aldridge. I'm
So you
guessing.
remember?
I have no
Oh,
idea.
you do remember this song?
I don't remember the song at all. But I'm just trying to think of famous drummers in that era that would kind of be paying tribute to Keith Moon. So Carmen Appice and Tommy Aldridge would definitely seem like two that would be very likely contenders.
Cozy Powell was one of them.
Cozy Powell, another great drummer.
Yeah, yeah, awesome drummer. So yeah, that's another one that you never ever hear that anymore. And I remember hearing that on KSGO quite a bit. And it's a catchy tune. It's a good song, and definitely check it out.
Wow, I don't think I've ever heard that one either. So I'll have to do a little bit of research on that one to figure out what was it called again.
Under a Raging Moon.
Under a Raging Moon. Okay. For some reason it sounds like a Neil Young song to me, but okay. Wow. There's a couple. I have a couple more, and I have one left. Oh well. I'm gonna go with this one because we talked recently about when we had Anthony on, we did our favorite songs of artists in the '80s, and we just picked a random bunch of artists and comment on all these different artists. And one of the artists in question was Cheap Trick, and what was our favorite song of theirs in the '80s. And I was like, God, I can't recall anything other than The Flame. Even though I wrote the list, I thought it'd be unfair that I did research on it. So I figured if you guys weren't prepared, why should I be? So I tried to just randomly throw down a list and tried not to think about it. And I was like, man, Other Than the Flame, I know they had some great ones. And I saw them like like a week later performing with Rod Stewart. And they performed this song, which came out in 1985 from their Standing on the Edge album, went up to number 44 on the charts. And that's Tonight It's You. They performed it in concert, and I was like, oh man, I forgot this one. And just a great song. Robin Zanders sings amazing on it. They performed it live. It's really interesting because now Robin Zanders' son is in the band, and he performs like backing vocals and guitars. And Rick Nielsen's son is the drummer.
Wow.
Cheap Trick. I'm still not quite sure what happened to good old Bunny Carlos. It was always the interesting dynamic with Cheap Trick, right? You had two guys that looked like they were accountants or nerds, and the two good looking rock guys, and it always was a very interesting dichotomy for a band. But I'll tell you what, man, after all these years, Robin Zander still hits it, and just amazing, amazing singer, and one of those rock vocalists that just does not get enough credit, and he should, because one of the best voices in rock, in my opinion.
Nice. I don't remember that at all. And again, I've got their greatest hits, so I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it. I'm sure that once I listen to it, that I'll remember it.
Yeah, is it in cellophane or?
No, it's not in cellophane. It's actually gotten some mileage. Not a lot of mileage, but some mileage.
Wow, I think you got some options for cruise night.
I think I do, man. I'm building a mental list. It's like I gotta take this CD and that CD, and yes, I still play CDs through my CD player
As
because
do I.
that's all I can do.
Well, I mean, your car is from the '80s, so
It is
or
indeed.
at least one of them is. So. All right,
All
so
right.
you got the last one, and since I left a few on the table here, you got to come strong, brother.
All right. All right. So the last one that I've got, again, will be one that's popular with the folks that listen to rock. If you didn't listen to rock, you probably have not heard this song. The band, I think they were from Canada, but I'm not 100% sure. They had a couple of hits, and the singer had this really interesting quality in his voice where when he was singing low, he sounded very different than when he sang really high. It almost sounded like a shrieking high. The band I'm talking about is Zebra, and the song is called Tell Me What You Want. And great song. I can't remember the other one that they had is sort of more ballady. Again, that was also a great tune. Those are the only two songs I ever heard of the band, and then I've never heard from them again. So, again, the guy had a very distinctive voice. Oh man, I can't even think of somebody to compare him to.
He had a little bit of a Getty lead in me. I always thought he had, especially when he did his highs.
Yeah, I can hear that. I can see that.
That's why I always thought. I always thought they were from New York.
Were they from New York? I, for some reason, thought they were Canadian.
If they're a three-piece back in the '80s, we had to assume they're Canadian. So I understand that. Yeah, that's a really good band. That's a really good pick. Oh God, and I'm drawing a blank on the other song. I think the other song was actually the bigger hit that you can't remember right now, and I can't remember either. But yeah, really good band, really underrated. And I think they went on for a decent amount of time. I mean, obviously their heyday was like one album, but they still performed for some time after, I believe. So it's actually a really good call.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Dang it, I want to go more. I want to go more.
Go. Hey, it's this is our venue, man.
You know what though? If we can talk '80s, we can do more sequels. All
We
right.
can,
If they have
absolutely.
80 million Friday the 13th and 80 million, Nightmare on Elm Streets, we can do 80 million of these forgotten '80s songs. I don't want to give too much away.
All right, all right. I hear you.
I got some stuff for a rainy day. So the next time you're like, God, what can we do that we haven't done before? We'll go, we haven't done a 3-parter. Then I'm ready. I'm ready.
Good deal. Excellent.
So hey, before we bounce on this, do you want to talk about what's going on Saturday for you? Because I think it's really cool and very retro and very '80s.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's two things going on Saturday. During the day, there is going to be a car show over at the San Mateo Expo Center, which is where they have the San Mateo County Fair. And it's going to be just cars that are 80s and 90s. So I am taking my Monte Carlo, which I've had since I was 19, and I'm going to show it there for the first time. So that should be interesting. And then after that, in the evening, they're having the Bay Area Cruise Night on the El Camino, which is pretty much the same route that we used to do when you and I were youngish and did the cruise scene. There's expected to be like 4,000 cars out there. I haven't done this in probably 3 or 4 years. I did the first one, which was awesome, and then for whatever reason, the last few I've not been able to attend. So I'm really looking forward to doing that as well.
Very cool. That sounds amazing. I honestly, I wish I was going to be there with you. I think it would be a good time.
That would
But
be awesome. Maybe
yeah, I
next year we
would.
can plan it, man. They do it once a year.
All right. Well, if you give me some heads up, maybe we can make that happen next year,
Oh, that'd
2023.
be awesome. That
Yeah,
would be awesome.
we're super old guys playing CDs. People be like, "What?" But that's okay. Um, yeah, so, do you have a playlist set up for this weekend, Saturday, for the
I
cruise?
have a I have a little bit, although it's been altered by this episode here that we're doing. But White Snake is definitely coming with me.
Yeah.
Coming with me. Santana's probably going to come with me. Uh, and God, there's a couple of more that I had in my transom, but I can't remember what they are. But
Leatherwolf.
yeah, pardon me.
Yeah, you have some Leatherwolf going on.
Definitely take some Leather Wolf.
Okay. For me, the one that I remember the most was my friend Dan. He had this really nice GTO, and we had bought him, a cassette player for his GTO, and the Metal Church self-titled debut album got caught in it. And so I remember cruise nights for months where all we could listen to was Metal Church, and that is a fantastic album. Something I probably should have included on favorite debut albums, but I think I got kind of really sick of it because, oh great, Metal Church again. I don't care what you give me. If I heard it that much, I would have been really sick of it. So, sadly, it kind of dampened my enthusiasm on that album a little bit. But when I think of cruising, that's one of the things that I always think of. So, and I remember you and I cranking out Leatherwolf many a night during those cruise nights. So that's a good call.
For sure. That Hitman, God, the list that's huge.
All right, well, enjoy, brother. I wish I'd be
Thanks.
there, but I'll be there in spirit.
All right, man. You'll be riding shotgun with me.
Exactly. Well, as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. We really do hope on this episode we hit some of those ones where you're like, man, I forgot about that. Or better yet, introduce you to some music you never heard before. As you can tell, even Lewis and I can throw each other a curveball now and then. So it's a good thing. Anything you want to add real quick before we bounce on this?
Nah, man, I had a blast as I always do.
All right. Well, thank you guys as always for watching. And Lou, take us out, brother.
Peace out, everyone.
Thank you guys.